Hi guys, this is Asteroid 201. Anybody that knows me knows that I did a review of the Skywalker Saga on Blu-ray, the small pack, not the 4K version, and I also put up a special advert or a special preview of my Legacy Millennium Falcon, based on having a party with all the figures and stuff in there. Well, fits quite a lot of figures in there. Anyway, this one's quite different. Over the last few days, I've been reinventing or reinventing my vintage Millennium Falcon here. Basically, there was a few parts that was missing. I bought this one back in the 90s. Now, there's a bit of a story behind this. I originally had this one going back in the 80s. This was the vintage one that was originally released in 1990. 1979 to be precise, my mistake. And basically what happened is that I got stupidly conned into selling it from somebody at school. They wanted to pay only £4 for it. I sold it for 7. So it was a bit ridiculous considering the fact I paid probably 30 quid for it back then, because it was basically an expensive piece of hardware. But anyway, I came across somebody and they had a lot of Star Wars stuff, and then they happened to have this, so I bought this in the 90s, I think in the mid 90s, for about probably a further, I don't know, maybe a further like 20 quid I think I paid. I also got a B-wing fighter with it as well, which was quite good. So so as you can see, but I basically had it either underneath my bed or in the loft. I wasn't really doing anything with it. But then I've seen some brilliant things on YouTube and excellent things to actually improve it. And I was thinking that, well, I've got the Legacy one, I've got the Battle Action one, why don't I just improve the vintage one while it's here? Because a lot of people still love the vintage version, because basically just simply because of the way that it looks, you know, and its style, and it was so playable back then in the days. So basically this is why I basically decided to come out and show what I've improved with it for the time being. Now it's still not finished yet. I've still got quite a lot to do in terms of stickers and weathering using a black acrylic paint, and then basically rubbing it in. As you can see, the cockpit is different to the rest of it, where you can see yellowing where sunlight has been into it and every single bit. I've had to purchase some things from eBay. If I take the cover off, the cover's not very supportive, because all this time it used to fall off. Now it's not coming off at all. I've had to reinvent some of the things in there. So as you can see, I do have the ramp. The ramp struts. Basically, when I bought this originally, it had the support for the seater and for the cannon, but the problem is there was no cannon and the seater support was damaged, you see. So therefore I had the seat but didn't have the seater support, so that was a bit awkward. And it was also missing a ball and chain. Yes, it had the radar dish. It actually has 2 radar dishes, and I also got a force floor as well. 2 force floors, actually, as a matter of fact, that came with it. Stickers were already peeling off, as you can see. Some of the stickers aren't even there. So I'm getting, I'm decided I'm going to upgrade it, not using the standard original stickers for this, but I'm going to get the Power of the Force figures, and stickers, because the Power of the Force stickers basically had the blue engines rather than the red ones that they did back then. Basically, so I'll be getting that to sort out. So at the moment, I've managed to get from eBay, managed to get the ramp struts, I've managed to get the ball and the chain, the arm strut and the training ball, and I've recently managed to get the cannon piece. I had to get a new cannon support and seater because the top part of that cannon support and seater was actually damaged, so it was pointless and I was nearly going to give up on it. But then I thought, well, look, I might as well just get a new one, and the person that I got it from sent it off almost immediately, which was brilliant. Now this one, when I originally bought it, all this one had in terms of electrical features was just a battle alert sound. That's all it had. When I had it originally, but then over time, when I had it, it worked fine, but then afterwards it started to stop working. I didn't know why. But then when I opened it up inside, I found that basically it wasn't corroded, but it was just these bits here, these copper bits here, basically just weren't connecting properly. And since I basically now managed to get it sorted out, I managed to use that just with a pair of pliers. So just give me a moment. It can make a sound. If I do it right and put pressure on it. There we go. All it is just basically a little motor that's inside that spins around. It's usually a bit quieter than that, but it sounds more like a choo-choo train at the moment, like a steam train really at the moment. But anyway, at the moment, it will do. It's working, so that's the key thing. The radar dish, some of these things weren't working in the same way, so I had to put some glue to keep it where it is, so it won't be able to move, but I can move it left and right. Yeah, and as I said, I've got a replacement one for this anyway, so the replacement radar dish that you can actually put on. The Canon's new, so I was able to get that, so I was able to put that on. So that was pretty good. Yeah, it gets a bit quiet sometimes when you put it on this way and everything. And as I said, I managed to get the new support for it, so I'm very happy with that, and the chair fits fine. These I think were 3D rendered when I got them, so this is why. So this was 3D rendered, and so was the ramp struts at the end of the day, so I can't really complain about that. But at the end of the day, now the thing is, what I want to rejuvenate about this more than anything else, what I want to rejuvenate about this is also this back part. Now this back part was designed for the 1979 version, and as you can see, it does look rather dated. If anybody's got the Power of the Force version or the trilogy version of this same mold, you know how they've sort of interacted it more with the with where the cockpit is, and they've added a more modernized back. This is what I intend to do with it as well. I want to basically, I've got a good printer, I'm going to try and print out on a nice glossy paper images of that, like if it is going into the cockpit, and I'm going to put it around. I may not go fully all the way around, I'll try if I can, but otherwise I'm going to try and put it all the way around and try and get a nice thing. There's a way you can open it up and take it, because it's just a piece of card really, but I don't want to go into too much effort in that in case I do something wrong. So what I'm going to do is I'm just basically going to measure it out, and once I get my printer ink cartridges, I'm basically going to put all those, I'm going to update that, I'm going to cover it on top of it, and basically fill in all those details and make it look a bit more modernized. I have some great pictures already of like the interior of the Falcon and where the cockpit goes in, so that's what I'm going to plan to do. Also, I'm going to, as I said, I've got some Power of the Force stickers coming, so I'm going to use those. I'm going to cover that with it, and then I'm going to start doing the painting of it. So therefore I'm going to like do a weathering of it with a black acrylic paint, must be an acrylic paint, and basically just paint over it and then basically just rub it in. I have to do it underneath as well as on the top. They're Power of the Force stickers had a hell of a lot of stickers with it, a lot of stickers. So this is why. But also I'm going to get some battle damage stickers as well, and try and get that all in as well. Now I've got my C-3PO. This was the C-3PO R2-D2 here is basically the Mark II versions, where C-3PO's limbs would come off and R2-D2 had that sensor scope. Yeah, that was a classic. That was a nightmare trying to get that one back in the days, because it was one of the most popular things, all because he had a little sensor scope. I'm going to get weapons for my friends in the cockpit. As you can see in the cockpit here, I have, I think, an old version of Chewie, and I don't think that's the original Han Solo. I think that was Han Solo wearing the Bespin gown, but I haven't got the Bespin coat that came with that, so this is why. But I'm getting him pistols, and I'm getting Chewie his bowcaster, and I'm also going to do the cockpit in there as well. I am also at the back, if you can see at the back, it's just completely blue. I'm also going to put some details in there, pretending that there's passenger seats in there as well, to make it look pretty good. Okay, so those are the things that I'm going to try to rejuvenate with. I've seen some people even go further with this vintage version, where they've actually gone over the top, where they've opened it up and they've actually put LEDs at the front, because the Power of the Force version and the trilogy version actually has lights that appear on the front here, and it's got a lot more sounds, just like the later legacy version came out with. And if you get the trilogy version, it actually has a proper engine, just like the legacy one, that fills up all this space here, which is actually quite innovative. And some people, if you know your electronics and stuff, you can actually do that and know how to do it, which would be great if you actually added those features to it. But I'm not sure if I'll actually go that far. I may consider trying that engine style, because the engine style, if you look at the legacy one, the engine style is just really good. The way how it makes a sound and everything, and comes out and flashes and all that. I don't know if the trilogy one actually did that, but it certainly sort of like had that same style engine, as you can see there. So it's really, really good. So, you know, while this is done in the 80s, where like it's an engine with nothing behind it, and all this is basically filled up like with engine. So I may consider that sometime later on to see how it goes, and touch it up and make it look good. Whether if I'll never probably be able to make the exact sounds or nothing, but even if I could simulate something that looks more like that engine, then that would be really, really good. But right now I'm just happy with that Power of the Force look, because at least it's modernized enough and does the job perfectly. So there you have it, really. There's my vintage Millennium Falcon upgraded. I may consider selling this at some point because I want to get a business started. So I may consider like selling some of these, doing some of these things up. I've got a lot more other vehicles that have a similar problem when it comes to the electrics. Like the TIE Interceptor had a problem, the B-Wing fighter had a problem, and I've also got the four-legged walker, the AT-ATs. Also has that sort of like, this is probably just either a bit corroded, or what it is basically the connectors just need tweaking a little bit and it just sorts itself out. So there you have it. So stay tuned. I'm going to do more footage once it's fully completed. The moment it's fully completed, I will definitely have it, and I will show what I've done to it, and you should see it looking quite different after the weathering and with the extra stickers. Okay, guys, so take it easy. I hope you've enjoyed this film, and if you want to subscribe, that's up to you, because I'm going to do more films. Okay, so take it easy. Okay, guys, bye.